I can't say that I have family to leave behind necessarily.
One afternoon in London, I'm driving my car and the phone rings, and it's a number I don't recognize, and it's Frances Anne Solomon, our director. And she says, "Good afternoon, Patterson. My name is Frances Anne Solomon, and I'm calling you because I'm doing this movie called Hero." So I said, "Patterson, do you mean Patterson Joseph?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Frances Anne, this isn't Patterson. I'm Fraser James." And she said, "Oh, Fraser, you know, my apologies. You're actually on my list of people to call, so I must have made a mistake." So I was like, "Okay, so what's the deal?" So then she kind of explained what the movie was about, and she said, "I'd love to sit down and talk to you about it." And from the moment I started looking at what George Padmore did and who he was, and his association with Pan-Africanism, which was hugely surprising to me because I had no idea that the Caribbean people were so involved in that movement, you know. And also just the fact that this guy was almost like in another life, he could have been a member of the security services. His understanding of the way the world worked, you know, and his ability to operate under the radar and get things done was amazing to me.
I got a call one day after having watched Frances Anne shoot the initial principal photography for this show in London, England, and Ghana, Africa, and Trinidad here. I was very jealous watching this whole thing unfold on social media, like very jealous, like literally green with jealousy, green with envy. And finally one day, quite out of the blue, she called me and she said, "You know, we've put this thing together and we think it needs a little bit more." So they conspired to construct a fictitious dimension to this project, cast me in it, and shot it all on a soundstage in Toronto, and then wove it into the film. What it means to me to be involved in as a part of that, in the telling of this story, I can't even quantify it. It's so valuable. We miss a lot of our history, especially that part, you know, between the Second World War and independence. There's a lot that has been lost. This, I hope, will help reclaim some of it.
I see Caribbean as an extension of Africa, if I may put it that way. And for Africa, for the film industry in Africa, we are still developing. So for the Caribbean to also start developing their film industry is great. What I would encourage is a lot of partnership between both sides, both film industries, because the more you partner, the more you open up the market, and the more stronger the industry becomes. You know, because I know there's a lot of demand for African films, there's a lot of demand for black films, if I may put it that way. And of course, you have a lot of Africans and Caribbeans in North America, in Europe, all over the world. So when you bring these two together, it will obviously be a very formidable force to reckon with. I would love to stay in the Caribbean and do films. I mean, I would love to stay here and help the film industry grow, you know. And of course, the last time I was here, I was in Tobago, I was still thinking the same thing. But now that I'm in Trinidad for such a long period of time, I still think that, yes, I mean, anytime I get a chance to come here to do a film, I would gladly and willingly come, you know, do a couple of films, you know, see if I can talk to certain actors and actresses, see how best we can do capacity building, and at the end of the day, you know, discover new talents.
At last, Ghana, your beloved country,